What if everything you've ever been taught about money was only half the truth? In a world that equates success with luxury cars, fat bank accounts, and private jets, the Bible offers a radically different blueprint, one where wealth isn't measured by what you have, but by what you do with it. Welcome to the Kingdom Wealth Mindset, building prosperity God's way. Because true prosperity doesn't begin in your wallet, it begins in your spirit. The difference between kingdom wealth and worldly wealth. The world teaches us to chase success, to hustle, to grind, to make money no matter what it costs. But kingdom wealth isn't about chasing, it's about stewardship. It's not about accumulation, it's about alignment. When your finances, goals, and heart align with God's will, that's when real abundance begins to flow. In Matthew 6:33, Jesus says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." The world says, "Earn, then rest." God says, "Seek me, then I'll provide." One path burns you out, the other builds you up. So the first step to a kingdom wealth mindset is surrender. You must release ownership and embrace stewardship. Your resources aren't really yours, they're God's gifts, entrusted to your care for a purpose bigger than profit. God's purpose behind prosperity. Let's be clear, God is not against wealth. He's against wealth without purpose. In Deuteronomy 8:18 it says, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth." Notice it doesn't say he gives you wealth. It says he gives you power to get wealth. That means wisdom, creativity, discipline, and favor are divine tools, meant to build, bless, and serve. When you understand that, money becomes a ministry tool. It funds visions, it feeds families, it builds churches, it impacts generations. Kingdom wealth isn't about status, it's about stewardship. It's not about how much can I get, but how much good can I do. When your motive is to glorify God, not yourself, your business, career, and finances naturally attract divine favor. Because God can trust a vessel that pours out blessings, not one that hoards them. The mindset shift from scarcity to abundance. Many believers struggle with money not because they lack resources, but because they carry a scarcity mindset. They think money is evil. They think wanting more is wrong. But that's not biblical. 1 Timothy 6:10 doesn't say money is the root of evil. It says the love of money is. Money itself is neutral, a tool that reflects the heart of its holder. In the hands of the righteous, it becomes a weapon against poverty, injustice, and suffering. When you operate from a kingdom mindset, you stop thinking, "There's not enough for me," and start saying, "God has more than enough for everyone." Because in his kingdom, provision is never the problem, perspective is. You can't manifest abundance while meditating on lack. That's why God renews our minds before he multiplies our means. When you trust his limitless supply, you stop chasing money, and money begins chasing you. The principle of seed and harvest. Every blessing in the kingdom operates by one timeless law, seed time and harvest. Genesis 8:22 declares, "As long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease." In the world, people hold tightly to what they have. In the kingdom, givers grow. When you sow, whether it's time, love, generosity, or resources, you activate heaven's multiplication. God never forgets a seed planted in faith. Remember the boy who offered his lunch to Jesus? 5 loaves and 2 fish, just a small seed. But when it passed through divine hands, it fed over 5,000 people. That's what God does. He multiplies what you release. If you're praying for increase but refusing to plant, you're missing the principle. Faith grows when it's given away. Kingdom wealth flows to those who don't just receive, they release. So whether you're tithing, helping a neighbor, or funding a ministry, understand this. Every seed you sow carries your next harvest. Excellence as worship. In the kingdom, excellence is not optional, it's a form of worship. When you run your business with integrity, when you give your best effort at work, when you treat clients with love and honesty, that's kingdom culture in action. Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for men." You're not just an entrepreneur. You're an ambassador of heaven. Your work is your witness. The way you serve people is a reflection of the God you represent. When you stop cutting corners and start creating value, God breathes favor on what you do, because excellence attracts influence, and influence in the right hands builds the kingdom. So whether you're designing products, managing a team, or leading a ministry, remember your diligence is divine. You're not just making profit, you're modeling heaven's order on earth. The test of trust. Before God elevates, he tests. He'll often give you a little to see how you handle it before he releases more. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." If you're faithful in managing $100, he can trust you with $10,000. If you're generous when you have little, he knows you'll be generous when you have plenty. The kingdom wealth mindset understands that money is a test of trust. It's never about the dollar amount. It's about your heart condition. Can God trust you to bless others, or will the blessing blind you? If you want divine abundance, prove divine stewardship. Because the moment you show God that you value purpose over possession, he'll open doors that no man can shut. Building a business that honors God. Now let's talk about business, the battlefield of faith and finance. Many Christians separate the sacred from the secular, but in God's kingdom, there's no divide. Every boardroom is a mission field. Every transaction is a testimony. To build a business that glorifies God, 3 pillars matter most: integrity over image, choose what's right even when it's not profitable, service over status, make impact your goal, and income will follow. Faith over fear, step forward even when you don't see the full plan. When you dedicate your business to God, you invite his wisdom into your decisions. He gives strategies that outperform statistics. He aligns partnerships that no marketing plan could arrange. Because he's not just blessing your work, he's partnering in it. When your business becomes a kingdom tool, every customer you serve becomes a chance to reflect Christ's light. You're not just selling, you're sowing into souls. Prosperity with purpose. Here's the truth: prosperity without purpose is emptiness in disguise. The world's wealth says, "Look what I did." Kingdom wealth says, "Look what God did through me." Your money should move mountains, not just buy mansions. Your wealth should build people, not just portfolios. Proverbs 11:25 says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." Generosity is the heartbeat of heaven. When you give, you create a divine cycle, you refresh others, and God refreshes you. That's kingdom economics. You can't outgive the giver. So the next time you ask God to bless your business, ask him for a bigger mission, not just bigger margins. Because purpose-driven prosperity lasts, profit-driven success doesn't. The eternal return on investment. The world measures success by quarterly reports. Heaven measures it by eternal impact. When you invest in people, in truth, in faith, those are eternal dividends. Every soul touched, every life changed, every seed sown in love becomes a crown laid before the King. You won't take your bank account to heaven, but you will take the legacy of what you did with it. God's version of wealth is holistic, financial, spiritual, relational, and emotional. He wants you to prosper in all things, but as your soul prospers. That means abundance begins with alignment. When your heart aligns with heaven, prosperity naturally follows. The kingdom call. The kingdom wealth mindset isn't a get-rich-quick formula. It's a lifelong partnership with the creator of abundance. It's about trusting him as your source, not your savings account. When you choose to live by God's principles, sowing, serving, and stewarding, you'll find that prosperity chases you instead of you chasing it. So today, make this your declaration: I am not ruled by money, I am led by mission. I don't seek wealth to impress, I seek wealth to impact. Because in God's kingdom, the greatest currency isn't cash. It's character, calling, and contribution. That's how you build prosperity God's way. And that's how you step into kingdom wealth that never fades. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos on YouTube.